This is going to be on Twister the Ride. While the people are waiting in line, they'll have to kind of walk up steps like this.
It's been nearly 30 years since Twister Ride It Out opened at Universal Studios Florida. The date is May 4th, 1998, and this all-new, highly immersive display of special effects will replace the opening day attraction at the park, the Ghostbusters Spooktacular. Another attraction showcasing examples of how big-budget Hollywood movies conduct illusions to trick the naked eye on the big screen. Both attractions were set to be built in the New York section of the park. Twister would be built into the same soundstage and deliver to audiences what it would really be like to experience an F5 tornado on the Vegeta scale. Originally scheduled to open in March, the park decided to delay the attraction a few months due to the tornado outbreak in Kissimmee of that year. That would ultimately kill 42 civilians just a few weeks prior from the original date. Universal was so devoted to building this theme park attraction that they even went as far as bringing back Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt to reprise their roles, and filmed them both separately due to the actors refusing to meet in person as a result to their negative history on the film set. Guests would begin by entering the queue with minimal theming. They would, however, see the debris scattered around, showing that the Twister they are about to experience is no joke. Afterwards, you'll enter Soundstage 50 where the attraction is housed. Designed to look like a prop department on a studio backlot. Here, visitors will witness a pre-show, showcasing footage of just how powerful one of these storms could really be, while the two actors discuss their experiences while filming the 1996 film, Twister. Following this, you would enter a savaged house in what appears to be destroyed by an F5 tornado. A car looms from the ceiling, as it must have been thrown through mid-air. There's even a fun nod to Disney just down the road, as a pair of the iconic Mickey ears can briefly be spotted. You were instructed to watch a short video showcasing more damage that one of these storms could really cause. A commercial jet engine was brought in to hit the actors with 100-mile-per-hour winds. Chips of ice were then blasted at them off the back of a truck to simulate hail. They even dropped an exploding gasoline tanker in front of the actors. Bill Paxton ends with murmuring one final line that will carry with you as you inch farther into the attraction.
Hold on for your life.
A warning siren can now be heard playing over the background noise as you very faintly hear a voice urging everyone to get out and to shelter. Guests are herded into the main showroom, where they will witness a tornado right before their very eyes. Using cutting-edge technology to bring the Twister to life, this 2.5-minute experience showed you what it was really like to be standing in the middle of one of these natural disasters. In order to make the storm feel as realistic as possible, Universal collaborated with tornado meteorologists to bring it to fruition. 54 speakers were brought in, generating 42,000 watts just to simulate the thunder effect. The tornado's unique sound was a combination of different animals, such as camels and lions just to name a few. 65,000 gallons of water would be utilized for the rain sequence, and 300 speakers were well executed into the experience. The set was designed to resemble a drive-in movie theater, taken directly from one of the scenes in the film. The show begins when you can hear some chatter inside of the nearby diner. You are then given your first glimpse of the tornado. It can be seen in the distance approaching closer. It appears through the drive-in movie theater, appearing life-size at 5 stories tall. Debris flies across the soundstage as havoc breaks out, including Dorothy, the name given to the weather machine in the film, and a live cow. The scene intensifies as lightning bolts strike the ground. This continues for a few minutes, as fear strikes the entire audience's eyes. All is sudden for a short moment, and the lights come back to normal. Bill Paxton comes back on to urge everyone to exit to your left and to pick up your personal belongings. You are then herded into the gift shop as you exit, cleverly named Aftermath, where merchandise from the movie and attraction are sold. For those who remember the backlot tour at Disney's Hollywood Studios, previously named MGM Studios, the experience was very similar to the pre-show that was once found on that attraction while it lasted. Except unlike Twister, the backlot tour felt like a much more complete attraction, allowing Universal's version to feel much more dated as time went on. To honor the attraction's legacy, on its last day of operation, fans of the film flocked to Universal Studios dressed as both Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt's character. On November 2nd, 2015, Twister Ride It Out saw its last show in favor for a much more modern attraction. Construction began fast on what would become Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon. Upon opening, it received less than stellar reviews, but on the bright side, it captured the real-life 30 Rock perfectly from the inside out. An Easter egg to Twister was added to one of the window displays outside, featuring one of Bill Paxton's actual shirts from his wardrobe. You can also spot a stapler labeled B. Paxton. Be on the lookout as well for an advertisement featuring Twister Cola on it. With all this love being given, why did they feel the need to close it? Leading up to its closure, it would almost always be a walk-on. Not to mention, the cost to run the show was very expensive, and thus, the decision was made to close down the attraction for good. Twister Ride It Out made its blockbuster debut in 2015's Sharknado 3, when a vehicle from the Rip Ride Rockit roller coaster plows through the side of the show building for the attraction, where a crowd full of onlookers erupt and cheer, thinking it was all part of the experience. Fast forward nearly a decade from when we last got to visit the small town of Waukeeta, Oklahoma, and that brings us to today. Twister hasn't gotten much love since the attraction closed down outside of a few callbacks here and there. In 2021, the Universal Legacy Store will open in City Walk, featuring merchandise and scale models based off the resort's past attractions. When the attraction was gone for good, some of the actual thematic props were on sale in the Williams of Hollywood prop shop, such as the show-used flying cow and a Welcome to Waukeeta sign. Now you can spot a fun callback to the attraction inside Mel's Drive-In on one of the menu screens. A flyer of Twister's safety rules can also be spotted inside of the Summer Tribute Store, and to round it out, a flying cow can briefly be recognized in Universal's new nighttime show, Sensational. All these little callbacks and Easter eggs really make you wonder, will Twister ever see the light of day again? In a theme park? Well, there's really no easy way to settle this, but it is a possibility given the future. This summer, Twisters will make its box office debut, starring Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones this time around. The movie looks to have a similar premise as the original. A freak storm terrorizes our protagonists, and they set out to study the storm in order to learn more about it and to save future lives. It's not likely that a theme park attraction based off these set of characters will ever return based off the way things have been moving as of late, at least in the way that the original show is like. Special effects attractions just are not as exciting to the general public anymore. Every single one, aside from a few honorable mentions, have been scrapped and replaced with much more up-to-date attractions, which can appeal to a much wider audience. Disaster was replaced by Fast and Furious Supercharged, Terminator was replaced by Jason Bourne, and so many more have ceased to exist. It's hard to imagine a Universal where these attractions aren't a key part of the experience anymore. Universal Studios Singapore still has a popular special effects show called Lights, Camera, Action, of course hosted by the one and only Steven Spielberg. This to us feels like a much more modern approach to the attraction Twister and their version of it. But who knows how long until this even remains in the park, as it's been in operation since 2010. Epic Universe is coming up, however. Will we receive anything like this in the park at some point? Given the differently themed worlds going into that park, not likely. We believe that Twister may never see the light of day again in a mainstream theme park attraction outside of a few fun callbacks here and there. But who knows, we've seen attractions such as King Kong come back, so it's a small possibility. You can now experience a small slice of the original Twister attraction, as those fun pop-up wind tunnel machines are showing up at movie theaters around the country to promote the new film. I know, it's not the same, but hey, it's a start to bringing back the original show. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ParkTwister. If you're new around, please consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed the video, then go ahead and hit that like button. To help support us even further, all affiliated links can be found in the description below. Alright, thanks for watching ParkTwister Ride It Out. Sorry, couldn't resist.